So, before he enters the cage against the noisy Sean Strickland at UFC 298 for the middleweight belt, let's find out why UFC fighters are actually scared of steel knocks. The most effective sleeping pill in history. That's right, Dricus Du Plessis is nicknamed after steel knocks, a sedative hypnotic drug that puts people to sleep, and it's a befitting moniker for the South African who has the highest finishing rate among middleweights in the UFC top 10, 95% to be precise. Out of his 22 professional fights, Du Plessis has won 9 by the way of knockout and 10 through submissions. As far as his finish by round stats are concerned, Du Plessis has stopped his opponents in the first and second rounds on 8 occasions and has 3 finishes in the third round. Most of Du Plessis' finishes can be attributed to his Greek godlike physique and his hulkish strength, which comes from...
We are built different in South Africa, man. Braai vleis and pap. That is what we eat, that's South African strength. I tell them, we're built different out there, but...
For those who don't understand Afrikaans, braai vleis is barbecue meat and pap is porridge, which apparently is the perfect meal if you want to become a multi-sport and promotion champion. Long before Du Plessis entered the bloody world of mixed martial arts, he was into rugby, which seems to be one of the best bases for MMA these days. Hint, Alexander Volkanovski. But unlike the great Volk, Du Plessis' love affair with rugby ended as soon as he was done with school. With a jacked physique and strong base, Du Plessis drifted to kickboxing at the age of 14, and within a few years, he became a WAKO world champion in K1 style kickboxing. However, although he was winning gold belts and silver trophies, his bank account remained on a tight leash, and something needed to change. To make more money, Du Plessis decided to take up mixed martial arts, which sounds funny because MMA fighters make peanuts in lower leagues, as well as in even some of the bigger ones, unless they are... Du Plessis' entry into MMA proved to be a revelation as he fought for the Extreme Fighting Championship middleweight title in only his 5th professional fight. Due to lack of experience, Du Plessis lost, but he bounced back in a big way, winning his next 7 fights in the South African promotion and leaving a trail of bodies in his wake to capture the welterweight and middleweight titles. After smashing everyone in South Africa, Du Plessis flew to Poland to conquer Europe, winning the KSW welterweight title by stopping Roberto Soldic, who is widely regarded as one of the best European fighters competing outside of the UFC. To put things into perspective, Soldic was a -300 favorite heading into the fight, but as the heavy underdog, Du Plessis defied the odds and beat the most feared man in the promotion. After conquering Europe and capturing the KSW welterweight title in Poland, Du Plessis set his sights on the ultimate challenge, the UFC. In his second UFC fight, Du Plessis beat Trevin Giles by second round knockout and made more people lose money, including a UFC fighter who lost $1,000 betting against him.
Tell you something, back in the day when we were allowed to bet, I put, I think, $1,000 on Trevin Giles, you know, because I thought, man, there is no way this mother is going to lose to Dricus Du Plessis. Guess what? He did, and I lose money on this mother.
Du Plessis' 4th UFC fight was when he truly put the middleweight division on notice, with a blistering performance against Darren Till. The South African came out guns blazing and almost tranquilized the gorilla in the first round, but the Brit withstood the onslaught and bravely engaged in a firefight. Du Plessis refused to take his foot off the gas, however, and after securing a takedown in the 3rd round, he put his opponent out of his misery. Many thought Du Plessis looked exhausted after a grueling battle, but lo and behold,
the gas tank can never be empty. It can go to a little bit low, but never goes to empty.
Not even with an 8% oxygen intake. Yep, you heard it right. After dispatching Darren Till and following it up with another spectacular performance against the middleweight division's ultimate gatekeeper, Derek Brunson, Du Plessis fought Robert Whittaker with a serious sinus infection that required surgery, meaning that Stillknox was operating with only 8% oxygen intake at UFC 290, according to his coach. However, the claim was refuted by MMA aficionado turned medical doctor Brian Sutterer. Regardless, the surgery must have had some impact on Du Plessis' breathing ability, despite which he went on to smash and stop the 2nd best middleweight in the world, and that too, despite being a huge underdog. Du Plessis' monumental victory against Whittaker put him in pole position, but he had already planted seeds of a fierce rivalry with Izzy before he stepped in to face the Reaper. He did so by challenging the authenticity of the holy trinity of African champions. Izzy, Kamaru Usman, and Francis Ngannou.
Well, I mean, did those belts ever go to Africa? As far as I know, it came to America and New Zealand. I'm going to take a belt to Africa. I'm the African fighter in the UFC.
Du Plessis appeared to have hit it where it hurt most, and when he had a face-off with Israel Adesanya inside the cage at UFC 290, the champ completely lost it.
Yeah, my African brother, what's up?
I'm African, but I ain't no brother of yours, son.
Owing to the viral nature of their rivalry, the UFC wanted to book the two immediately at UFC 293, but Du Plessis refused to fight, citing an injury. Sean Strickland was brought in as short notice replacement, but the lamb the UFC brought to slaughter turned out to be a wolf in sheep's clothing.
You fight a guy like that, dude, little twinkle toes, running around, dance around, it's hard to shoot. You know, you're gonna have to go nose to nose, dick, and make it a war.
He will now defend his crown at UFC 297 against Du Plessis, the man who was counted out almost every time he entered the cage. And just recently, the two appeared face to face for the first time yet at a press conference, and things got heated after the two started firing shots at one another.
Your coach will finish you in the back like you're used to. Don't worry about that. You're gonna get finished that night. Your coach got you.
Bro, why are you so angry? Every childhood memory you have is gonna come back when I'm in there with you. Every single one, the one where you lie in bed at night where your dad comes in and he beats the shit out of you.
Will take your soul. You understand me, you pussy? Yeah, you laugh, you
Yeah, I got a nerve. I see I hit a nerve there.
And at the recent UFC 296 event, Sean Strickland and Du Plessis got into an altercation in the crowd after the cameras showed them basically sitting right next to each other. Immediately after the cameras go away, Strickland can be seen asking Gilbert Burns' wife and kids to move to the side before he quickly pounces onto Du Plessis and starts unloading punches. So anyway, Du Plessis is now one win away from reaching the pinnacle of the sport. The question is, can he pull it off? The answer is that he can, because he has the X factor. Dricus Du Plessis is not the most talented guy, fights like a gorilla on roller skates on his feet. He isn't a Khabib on the mat either, but he's supremely confident in his ability to overpower his opponents. He understands his strengths and limitations, and he always finds a way to win. That is a really dangerous man, and that is exactly why UFC fighters are actually scared of Dricus Du Plessis. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out this one on the truly disturbing history and lifestyle of Sean Strickland.